now, though? East Haven, Connecticut?
Yeah.
Okay.
East Haven.
In which war did you serve?
Which war? Jesus
Which
Christ.
wars did you serve?
Which war?
Yeah.
I served in both.
Yeah.
The Korean War and the Second World War.
Okay. And what was your branch of service?
My Second World War, I was infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And in Korea, I was in, construction.
Engineering.
Uh,
You had to do some. You had
yeah, I
to,
was building, we had to build an airstrip in Korea.
Okay. And that was both in the Army, right?
Huh?
In the Army?
I was from the Army. They attached the Army group to the Air Force.
Okay.
So
Yeah. And what was your highest rank?
my highest staff sergeant.
Okay. In what general locations did you serve? Where did you serve?
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, I was in the Second World War. I served in the Solomon Islands. That was the island of Bougainville, and then we went from Bougainville. We went to Luzon in the Philippines in 1945. We landed it in January, and the war was over near the end of 45.
Okay. And what about the Korean War?
Huh?
In the Korean War, where did you serve there?
Oh, I was in construction, and we were a battalion of all Army men, and they put us in this construction to help the Air Force build an airstrip in Suwon, Korea.
Okay. So you said you were drafted, right?
Yeah,
Um,
in the Second World War.
Okay. Where were you living at the time?
At the time,
Mm-hmm.
I was in
New Haven.
Paroli Brothers.
Want to know where you were living?
Oh, in New Haven.
New Haven.
New Haven? Do you recall the date that you were drafted?
Drafted. I was drafted in. I will say March.
March?
My birthday was February 14th. I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
March. They drafted me into the service.
So a month after your 18th birthday.
Uh,
A month after your 18th birthday?
A month after your 18th birthday?
yeah.
I think he's got these things shut off, I swear.
Why did you pick the service branch that you joined? Were you drafted into the Army or did you choose the Army?
Yeah, we were drafted. They just put you where they needed you.
Yeah. Okay. How did you feel about being drafted at the time?
At the time,
Yeah.
I didn't think nothing of it, really.
So did you just know it was going to happen at some
Yeah.
point? Yeah. Did you feel good about being drafted into the Army?
Huh?
Did you like being drafted into the Army?
Yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind now that I came out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about your boot camp experiences. Where did you go to boot camp?
Boot camp was in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Fort Leonard Wood? Yeah, Missouri.
Okay. And how was it there?
Uh,
How did you like it?
it was cold. Mountains as high as the sky.
Yeah.
It was all mountain area. Yeah. We had 6 months of basic training. And then from the end of basic training, they shipped us to the Pacific because they need replacements.
Do you remember any of your instructors at boot camp?
No.
No. How did you get through it? Was there anything you did to help yourself get through boot camp, or did you just stick through it?
Well, when you with your own friends, I mean, like the people I was brought up with from New Haven, there were, like I said, there were about 5 of us that were together from the beginning of the Second World War to the end when we got discharged. We were all those months, we were 33 months, we were together.
So you were with your friends in boot camp, and do you think that helped?
Yeah, oh yeah, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So after boot camp, where did you go?
I went to California. We got a, and we picked a troop ship up in San Francisco Bay, and they shipped us over to, I think it was, first we landed in Fiji. Second, we landed on Guadalcanal. That was all, the war was, that was all over with the Guadalcanal campaign was all over. And then I picked up my company at the Guadalcanal.
Okay. What were your first impressions when you arrived there, when you got there?
Huh?
What were your first impressions? How did you feel about it?
Really, nothing. We didn't see much or anything. It was only jungles. Yeah. So we didn't get a chance to see anything at all. We took a little training on the island, and then from there they put us into. I went into the 37th Division Infantry, and me and four of us were all put in the same division, but different infantry. Like I was in the 148 Infantry Division. There was the 145th. There was one of my guys that we were drafted together. He went into the 145th Infantry. Yeah, but we kept close.
So you were split up into different units, but you still kept close with your friends?
Huh?
You still kept close with your friends even though you were split up a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I tell you, there was me, Paulie Albedo, Tony DeLucia. Yeah, us three were put in the same company and everything. And Ralph Amendola went into the 145th Infantry. Yeah.
Okay. So what was your assignment there?
At the time they put us into heavy weapons companies. The three of us were put into heavy weapons. Ralph was put into the infantry. He was up on the front lines, and we used to support the front line people. Like I said, with the guns, we had heavy weapons, that 81 millimeter, and we had heavy weapons, the machine guns. I think they were water cooled. Yeah, 30 millimeter machine.
Was that the mortar you were talking about? The mortar rounds? The mortar?
No, the motor was me, Tony DeLucia, and Paulie Albano. We were like almost as close as we were. We used to see each other every day.
That's good. So where did you go after you said you were in Fiji? Or?
From Fiji, like I said, we went to Guadalcanal for some basic training. And then after our basic training, I don't know how long that was for, we were joined up with the company or I should say the infantry, with the three of us the four of us were together, but he was put in a different outfit, like the 150, 45. Mine was the 148 infantry. one, the Paulie, Tony DeLucia, and me. We were, the three of us were put in the H Company, the 148th Infantry.
Okay. So where did you go after the Guadalcanal?
After Guadalcanal, we joined up with the 37th Infantry. We were the replacements.
Okay. And what did you do there?
Huh?
What did you do there?
Nothing. We just got acquainted and everything until we were on the invasion of the island of Bougainville.
Okay. How was that? How did you feel about that?
How I felt like that. We happened to land in a rainstorm. And when we got onto the island, they said, dig in. We got in there late at night. We had to dig foxholes to stay. As far as we took out one shovel of dirt out, it filled up with water. Yeah. Yep.
So after that, after the invasion, where did you go from there?
And then we stayed on the island. I don't know how long we stayed on the island until we went to the Philippines to invade Luzon in 1945 in January. We landed on the Lingayen Gulf.
Okay. How was that?
And then we walked from Lingayen Gulf all the way to Manila. And that's what we had to do. We had to occupy Manila. Like I said, I was one besides the, I don't know how many more soldiers. I was one of the first troops in Manila at that time.
Yeah. So, what did you do during the invasion of Luzon? Was that heavy weapons again?
Yeah, I was still in heavy weapons.
Okay. And how did that go, the Luzon?
Huh?
How did the invasion of Luzon go?
Very good. No casualties, no nothing. We didn't meet no opposition. We were lucky.
That's good. And how was Manila? How did you feel? How did you like Manila?
Well, Manila was beautiful. Yeah.
And what did you do? You said you occupied Manila?
Yeah, well, we occupied what, for about a month or so, something like that. And then we had to turn around and liberate the rest of the island. We had to go north on the island to liberate. And I can't remember the names of the towns that we liberated.
Okay.
So when we got at the end of the campaign, we were ready, we were taking basic training to invade Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the war ended in August.
Yeah.
Right?
So you were preparing to invade Japan, but you didn't have to.
Huh?
You were preparing to invade Japan, but you didn't have to.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I was ready to go, but they gave me a choice. You go home for a month and come back and occupy Japan for another 3 years. I said, you keep, and they said they're going to promote me for another stripe. I was a staff sergeant already. And I said, you keep the stripe, you
Watch what you say. No swearing.
I said, just ship me home. That's all I want.
Okay. So you weren't interested in any of that?
Nothing.
Okay. So what was a typical day like during that time?
Huh?
What was a typical day like for you during that time?
What was a typical day?
I still didn't get you.
What was a typical day?
Oh. We just hung around and waiting for our turns to go home. That's all we were.
So you just waited to go home. Was there anything you did to pass the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. That's all.
Was there anything you did to pass the time to take your mind off stuff?
We just hung around together. In fact, like I told you, I got discharged, I don't know if you call it December 28th or 27th of December, just before the new year came in. And that's, we got discharged at Fort
Devon?
Devens in Massachusetts.
Okay. So you did, when you came back from Japan, you went right to Massachusetts, or did you stop in California and then go to Massachusetts?
California first, and then we took a train home from to come back home. I don't know when we picked up the train though, but I know we landed at, I think it was Christmas Day, or I mean Christmas night or Christmas Eve, but we were put into Fort Devon waiting for our discharge. We had to wait about 2 or 3 days.
Okay. How did you feel about coming home?
How would you feel?
So you're really happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see combat, a lot of combat when you were in Japan?
Huh?
Did you see a lot of combat when you were in Japan?
Japan, I never got there.
Oh, I mean,
In the Pacific.
the Pacific, sorry.
Yeah. Yes. I thought, like on Bougainville, we saw most of the action on Bougainville before we landed in Luzon in the Philippines. But we had a couple of scrimmages when we landed on Luzon, and I can't remember where.
Okay, so there were some casualties?
I don't know.
Okay.
You just worry about yourself.
So you weren't, okay. So when you came back from the Pacific, how did you get involved in Korea?
How?
Yeah.
Oh, I was home for, let's see, I will say 46 into 1958. The company I was working with, they went out of business. I couldn't find a job. I said, let me go back in. I went back, I volunteered to go back into the service. And I was stationed at Fort Dix in New Jersey. I was teaching the new kids that were coming in. And that only lasted, let's see, about 6 months. And they shipped me overseas. As soon as the war broke out in Korea, when the war broke out in Korea, they said, Mr. Amendola, you're going back overseas again. I couldn't say anything, so I was just like that. And we landed on Okinawa first, took a little basic training, and from there we were shipped up to Incheon in Korea, and we landed there at nighttime, and we were put on trains, and we went to
So,
I'm trying to think of the name of the town. Did I tell you before?
I don't think so. It's okay if you don't remember. So you went to Korea?
Huh?
After you went from Okinawa and then you went to Korea?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you
Oh,
feel?
well, the name of the town, it was Suwon,
Okay.
Korea.
So you went,
And that's where we had to build a strip. And they were looking for volunteers for, when the company got there, They say, who wants to be a cook? Who wants to do? I volunteered for the cook. So
So what made you want to volunteer to be a cook?
just to stay warm.
Yeah. So you didn't want to see any combat?
No.
Okay. How did you feel about Korea when you landed there? What were your first impressions?
My first impression, how would you say it? You want me to tell you in Italian? Or what? Very cold,
Okay.
very cold. The night we landed in Suwon, they had tents up for us. They had 3 burners, 1, 2, and 3. And then we had to sleep with our overcoats on, our boots, everything. We were fully dressed, and still we had a tough time trying to sleep.
Were there a lot of, did you like the environment, like the trees and everything?
Huh?
Did you like the kind of environment, the nature? Besides the cold?
It got cold. That's all I could tell you.
That's all you remember. So where did you go from Suwon?
That we stayed there until we came back home.
Okay. So you just built airstrips there.
Yeah.
And how'd you like that, doing that?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was a cook. I didn't go to the area where they were building the airstrip.
Oh, so you just cooked for the guys who were doing that?
Yeah, they used to transport all the guys to the airstrip, and they would build the airstrip.
Okay. So when you came back from Suwon, where did you go?
We came. I came back to California. I think the name of the camp was Camp Orr. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay. And were you discharged from there?
No, I got discharged in South Carolina.
Fort Benning. Fort Benning.
Huh?
Fort Benning. Fort Benning. Oh, my voice is gone.
No. This is when I got discharged before we got.
I know it. You didn't get discharged in Greenville. You got discharged
We
in
got
Fort
in.
Benning.
What's that? Charleston? No.
Oh, it could be in Charleston, but I thought it was the fort. Fort Benning was in
No.
Charleston. No, that's why I thought that's where you
No.
got discharged.
So you got discharged in
That's
South
what I
Korea?
knew.
No,
We got married in South Carolina.
in South Carolina I got discharged.
Okay. So I saw some medals back there. Which medals and citations did you get through the war?
Nothing else, just what you got there.
Okay. Did you want to name any of them?
Huh?
Could you name any of them?
No. That's all I think you could name was there was the one with an arrowhead in it. I think that meant that you were on invasions. Like I was on an invasion of Bougainville and then invasion of Luzon. I wasn't on, in Korea, I wasn't on any invasions.
Okay. Did you sustain any injuries throughout your service?
No.
Okay. Did you stay in touch with your family throughout when you were there?
Huh?
How did you stay in touch with family and friends?
Letters.
Was it just family you stayed in touch with? Did you have any friends, girlfriends?
Girlfriends. Which one? See, now you're gonna looking for me to get a divorce now after 65 years.
I knew his girlfriends. That was before me.
Did staying in touch with them help?
Huh?
Did it help take your mind off staying in touch with people?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the food like there?
I don't know.
You see, he met me after he came home from Korea, and then we got married.
Yeah.
How was the food like in the service, though?
Like when we came back from Suwon, we came back across the United States. they stationed us down in Orlando, Florida. You know, there's a naval base there at that time. Yeah, and I used to, and then they wanted people to build some kind of shelter for the Air Force up here, up in South Carolina.
Greenville.
So that was our job for about 2-3 months. And that's where I met her, and we got married.
Okay. So is there anything special you did for good luck during the service?
Huh?
Was there anything you did for good luck during the service? Anything special?
No.
No. How did you entertain yourselves? You said you hung out with friends.
Yeah.
Did you do anything fun together?
Yeah. I used to travel 550 miles to see her on a weekend when I was stationed in Orlando.
I mean, during the wars.
During the war.
Oh. Just our friends we got together, that's all.
Did you play? Think you said you played baseball, sports.
That was during over there, but I used to, when I was, came back from the Second World War, I was home for about almost 5 years. It was 46 to 1950, 4 years. And until my company went out of business, and I had no choice but to join the service again, because I couldn't find a job.
Yeah. Was it hard to adjust back to life back in the States?
I don't know, I never seen any difference, nothing. Everything came out really good,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you remember any funny events from when you were in the service in
Which
the
war?
Either of them you could talk about.
No,
Nothing?
that's it.
Any unusual events?
Huh?
Anything unusual?
No, nothing. Everything was very normal.
Okay. What did you think of the officers and your fellow servicemen?
We got along very good. Yeah. During the Second World War, I got along with the officers, and during the Korean War, we got along, especially coming home.
Okay. And you said a lot of them were your friends, so that probably made it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Did you keep a journal?
No.
No? So what was your last day like in World War II?
World War II?
Yeah.
Oh, my last day. Oh, when I got to Fort Devens. And I picked up my discharge papers and I came home to New Haven.
Okay. What about in Korea?
Korea. Oh. I met her.
So you met her on your last day there?
Yeah. We were lucky we met together. She's we got married in South Carolina, and she's originally from Danbury.
Oh, that's lucky.
And
Yeah.
and I lived in South Carolina for a few years. My parents moved down there.
That's good.
I got a lot of relatives.
So what did you
out
do
there.
in the days after you got back?
From where?
Korea.
From World War II first.
World War II.
Mm-hmm.
We got back. Like I said, a couple of days later, I went back to work until my company went out of business. Yeah, there was a wholesale groceries. I was a truck driver for them.
Okay. And what about Korea? What did you do after Korea?
What did I do after Korea?
Oh, we went to Greenville to the Air Force Base when you came back.
After.
After that, we got married, came back here. He didn't want to stay down to South Carolina.
So did you? No, go ahead.
At the 27th of this month, we're going to be married 65 years.
Wow, that's great.
Got married on Thanksgiving.
So did you go back? What did you do for work after Korea?
After Korea,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do? I didn't do anything.
No, you went to work. You went to that one in Orange, remember the one in
Oh, U.S. Motors.
US Motors, yeah.
I tried to go back to work and all that.
And then you went back to driving a truck.
I went back to driving
You
a
liked
truck.
that the best.
Okay. Did you go back to school on the GI Bill or anything?
Nothing.
Okay. So did you keep in touch with your friends from World War II?
Just my family.
Okay. I mean, did you continue any of those friendships after you got back from the war?
Well,
Did you continue any of the friendships you had, like from World War II, back when you got home?
Well, you saw Paulie,
yeah,
and because Paulie, you were very close. You lived in the same building with him.
yeah. That Paul Albano, he lived downstairs, I lived upstairs.
Okay, so you lived in the same building.
Yeah, we lived on Worcester Street, New Haven.
Okay. Did you? How did your military experience influence your thinking about the war, or the military? Did it make you change your mind on anything?
No, not really, nothing. I didn't think nothing of it.
Okay, so it was just kind of a fact of life for you.
That's all.
Okay.
I just wanted to get back to work and everything and forget about everything.
Okay, so you just tried to get back to your normal life afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you join any veteran organizations?
Over here now, I belong to
To the VA and the American Legion.
the VFW. No. What's the number? 80.
That's the American Legion. in Asia.
American Legion.
Okay.
And belonged to the
When did you
VA.
join those ones?
Oh, quite a few years.
Yeah.
He's been.
Was it right after your service, or did you wait a while?
I waited a while. Yeah.
Okay. What made you want to join those?
My neighbor was across the street. He was an officer in the
American Legion. Bob.
American Legion, and he said, "Come on in and join the organization." I joined. I
Okay.
wasn't hard to get along with.
That's good. Yeah. Did you attend any reunions?
No.
How do you think your services and your experiences affected your life?
How?
Yeah.
Really nothing. Most of it was, what am I? Oh, then I went through quite a few operations. I got a missing big toe. That doesn't help my balance. I got operated on 2 knees. I had a colon cancer. What else?
In your back. Yeah,
Oh.
the bulge disc and whatever. Doing okay. Just the
Yeah.
missing toe makes it tough because that's his balance. So
Mhm.
it makes it hard.
So do you think that was any of that from the war, or is it just later in life?
No. That I think just as
When they had to cut off my toe, I had, what do they call it?
melanoma.
It got underneath my toenail. And
Okay.
they couldn't get at it, so they had to cut off the toe.
So do you think any of your experiences in the military helped you deal with that better?
I really don't.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to add that maybe we didn't get into?
No.
Okay.
Now these things here, you told me to wait to
All right.
fill.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your service and for taking the time to be interviewed today.
Thank you.